Ifunanya was beginning to accept the reality of losing her husband and found comfort in her already 1-month-old baby girl when calamity struck again. Ifunanya woke up one morning to find her baby missing. Welcome to Iyagba's Epic Tales. Once upon a time lived two brothers named Obiora and Nnamdi. Both brothers are married. Nkechi is the name of Obiora's wife and Ifunanya, Nnamdi's wife. Before now, Obiora had not been in good terms with Nnamdi and Ifunanya. This is because before they all got married, Obiora had seen Ifunanya first and liked her immediately. However, he did not make his intention known to Ifunanya on time. Nnamdi also saw Ifunanya on a later time and approached her. Ifunanya accepted Nnamdi because she also liked him at the instant he spoke to her. Their love and bond grew and they decided to get married. Obiora was agitated when he learnt that Nnamdi and Ifunanya were going out together. Ifunanya is mine. I have been speaking to you about the girl I am in love with, and that girl is Ifunanya. So, leave her alone for me, Obiora said, confronting his younger brother. When Nnamdi asked Ifunanya about it, she said Obiora had never approached her, much more discussed marriage with her. And this was true. In their village, a younger brother is not permitted to get married before his older brother. And with this, Obiora decided to frustrate Nnamdi and Ifunanya. Obiora, who was way older, refused to pick any other woman and get married. Since he could not have Ifunanya, he decided to continue his relationship with Nkechi, who had been his long-time girlfriend. He kept promising to go see her people and perform the marriage rites, but for a long time he never did. This is because in his heart, he never really wanted to marry Nkechi, and much more, he wants to be a barrier to Nnamdi and Ifunanya's coming together. Since I can't have Ifunanya, neither will Nnamdi have her. I will not get married, so that Nnamdi will not be able to marry Ifunanya, and her parents will get tired and give her away to another suitor eventually, Obiora said in his heart. And so, for 6 long years, Nnamdi and Ifunanya were together but could not get married. And as Obiora had wished, Ifunanya's parents became tired and started pressurizing Ifunanya to leave Nnamdi and accept one of the other suitors who have been asking for her hand in marriage. And because of this pressure, Nnamdi begged and begged Obiora to get married to Nkechi or any other girl of his choice so that he would not lose Ifunanya to another. But Obiora laughed at him and told him that he wants him to lose Ifunanya just as he had lost her to him. Well, after many months, luck smiled on Nnamdi and Ifunanya when Obiora finally got Nkechi pregnant and was forced by his family and their tradition to marry Nkechi. And so, after Obiora and Nkechi's marriage ceremony, Nnamdi and Ifunanya got married too. Obiora despised his younger brother and his wife, and for years he kept malice with them and stopped Nkechi, his wife, from interacting with them also. 4 years down the line, Obiora and Nkechi already got 2 children, but Nnamdi and Ifunanya were yet to have any. Obiora mocked Nnamdi and Ifunanya for this. However, when Ifunanya finally conceived on the 5th year of their marriage, Obiora decided to put the hatred behind him and make peace with his brother. We can't continue like this. We are brothers and should end this bad blood between us. I know I started it, and that is why I am here to apologize and make peace, Obiora said to Nnamdi one afternoon. He came with his wife Nkechi, and together they pleaded for forgiveness and asked that peace reign amongst them. Nnamdi and Ifunanya really embraced this, as it was not what they had wanted from the beginning. Both brothers hugged each other, and so did their wives. 2 weeks later, Nnamdi was found dead in his farm. Who or what had killed him was unknown.
Oh my brother, oh my brother, just when we had made peace and I was looking forward to us living together as one big happy family, you left me alone. Why, my brother? Why?
Obiora cried. The news of the sudden and untimely death of her husband caused Ifunanya to go into premature labor. Ifunanya delivered a baby girl. She was quite tiny as she was born premature, but she survived. Ifunanya was beginning to accept the reality of losing her husband and found comfort in her already 1-month-old baby girl when calamity struck again. Ifunanya woke up one morning to find her baby missing. She had always placed her baby beside her on the same bed every night since her birth. She was sure that she had locked the door to her room that night before falling asleep. Ifunanya panicked. She searched her whole house, and when she couldn't find her baby, she screamed and called for help. Family, friends, and neighbors looked for Ifunanya's baby all over the village all day, and the day after and the day that followed, but they did not find the baby. Ifunanya became devastated. How can she lose her husband and child within 5 weeks? It's been 21 years, and the queen of the village of Alaobodo, which is the village of Obiora and his family, have been very ill for some time. The village's renowned herbalist had tried her best and had administered the best herbal concoction she believes should have healed the queen, but unfortunately, it did not. One day, a palace guard came to inform the king that there is a young girl who claims that she is blessed with the gift of healing and knowledge of herbs, and that she can heal the sick queen. Curious and hopeful to see his wife well again, the king asked that the guard let the girl in. The girl introduced herself as Ifunanya. She said that she was from a small village that is 7 villages away from Alaobodo, and that her grandmother, through the leading of the gods, asked her to come to the village because a gift of healing is needed from someone important. Not sure whom the important person could be, Ifunanya obeyed her grandmother anyway and came to Alaobodo, and that is when she learnt of the queen's long illness. Ifunanya was strikingly beautiful. The prince of Alaobodo, Prince Arinze, who was also sitting close to his father in the palace while Ifunanya had walked in and spoke, fell in love with her instantly. With the help of the gods, Ifunanya was able to cure the queen, and that made the prince love her even more. In the weeks that followed, Prince Arinze and Ifunanya became close and they grew fond of each other. Prince Arinze decided to make Ifunanya his bride, and the king gave his support. But this got Obiora angry. Over the years, Obiora had gotten close to the royal household and had shown absolute loyalty to the throne. He had proposed that Prince Arinze and his first daughter Adaobi get married, and the king had agreed then. However, Prince Arinze never liked Adaobi, and he did let his father know. Believing that his daughter would be married to the prince and would be queen someday, Obiora made his daughter to go serve in the palace occasionally. So, this is why he feels cheated when he learns that Prince Arinze would not be marrying his daughter.
She is a stranger, my king, so she cannot be our next queen,
Obiora said to the king. Well, what Obiora had said is the truth as per their custom. The chief priest also confirmed this. There was supposed to have been a ceremony where the prince would publicly give his future bride a royal bracelet, indicating that she would be the prince's bride and future queen. But this ceremony had been on hold because of the queen's illness. So, now that she is well, it was time to hold the ceremony. Prince Arinze is unhappy. He loved Ifeyinwa, but he would not be declaring her as his chosen bride because she is not from Alaobodo. During the ceremony that day, Prince Arinze walked up to Adaobi and was going to give her the royal bracelet when he stopped and turned around. He walked towards Ifeyinwa instead and was going to put the royal bracelet on her when the chief priest stopped him, screaming, "Abomination! She is not from Alaobodo, therefore you cannot choose her to be your bride," the chief priest reminded Prince Arinze. "You lie! She is from this village and Alaobodo blood runs through her veins," a voice echoed. Everyone turned to see who it was that had spoken. They were all surprised when they saw the person, for it was the village's old renowned herbalist who had left the village 21 years ago without a word and without any trace. While everyone stared in shock, Ifeyinwa ran to the old woman and called her Mama. She told the king that the old woman was her grandmother she told them about, the one who had sent her to come to the village of Alaobodo. "Why did you leave without a word and without any trace?" the king and chiefs asked the old woman. Then she began her story. She said that on one particular night while praying to the gods had asked her to go into the bush and take the baby she would find in the bush far away from the village that night. When she got to the bush, she saw a young man trying to kill a baby, and she spoke out of the dark. The young man got scared. He ran away and abandoned the baby. The old woman said she picked up the baby and left the village that night as was instructed by the gods. And then weeks later, she said that the gods revealed to her that the baby is late Nnamdi's daughter, who is also destined to be Alaobodo's next queen. When Obiora heard that the old woman called Ifeyinwa his late brother's daughter, he stood up and called her a liar. The old woman asked that they fetch Ifunanya, who was not at the gathering at that time, to come identify her daughter, as her daughter had exactly the same birthmark as her late father. Ifunanya was brought to the palace ground and she described the birthmark, and indeed it was exactly how she had described it. It was right on Ifeyinwa's left thigh. Filled with tears that she had found her lost child, Ifunanya hugged Ifeyinwa tightly. While the emotional scenario was going on, there was a thunderbolt and it struck the chief priest. He became partially paralyzed instantly, and then he began to confess. He confessed that it was Obiora who killed his younger brother Nnamdi at the farm on that day, as he still despised Nnamdi and wanted Ifunanya to suffer as a widow with a little child. He had staged the reconciliation 2 weeks earlier so that no one would suspect him. When Ifeyinwa was born, Obiora asked his friend the chief priest to look into Ifeyinwa's future, and they found out that the young child would grow up to be a queen someday and would sentence Obiora to death for killing her father. And so, in order to stop the prophecy and change the future, Obiora had secretly stolen the baby that night, and together with the chief priest, they paid a young man to kill the baby. Well, they had thought that their secret would never come out, as the young man lied to them that he had killed the baby as they requested. After this confession, the chief priest died. The king ordered that Obiora be executed for his evil deeds. However, Ifeyinwa pleaded that they spare his life and only banish him. Obiora was banished from Alaobodo together with his family. Unfortunately for him, immediately he crossed the border of the village. He was bitten by a poisonous snake and he died few minutes later. Ifeanyiwa became Prince Arinze's bride and queen years later after the king and queen passed away. Ifunanya, who had lived in devastation all these years before now, lived happy once again and was grateful to God. The end.
I hope you enjoyed the story and have learned a thing or two from it. I would love to know. Please leave a comment. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video. Bye.